we are going to discuss first thing we are going to discuss commutative laws. Okay, commutative laws means what? Commutative laws. Okay, so in high school you have already learned about commutative laws of addition and multiplication, right? You know it that if two real numbers a, b are two real numbers, then a plus b is equal to b plus a. If a and b are two real numbers, then a into b is equal to b into a, right? You know about this. So this was called what? Commutative
Yes,
law.
sir.
Commutative law over addition. This is called a commutative law over multiplication. Similarly, in set theory also we have commutative laws. What are they? Number one, if a and b are two sets, okay, if a and b are two sets, then a union b is the same as b union a. This is called commutative law. A union b is the same as b union a. Similarly, a intersection b is the same as b intersection a. In which order you are doing the union, in which order you are doing the intersection, it doesn't matter here. A union b is the same as b union a. A intersection b is the same as b intersection a. This is called a commutative law. Okay. Then comes associative law. Then comes what? Associative law. Okay. So let's talk about associative law. Let me erase this. Okay. Associative law. Again, we have already learned about associative law over addition and multiplication in high school. That is, suppose a, b, c are three real numbers, then a plus within brackets b plus c is the same as a plus b within brackets plus c. This was called what? Associative law over addition, right? B plus c is within brackets. That means what? First you add b and c, then whatever result you get, then you add a to it. Okay, the answer is the same as first you add a and b, then whatever you get, add c to it. Okay, both are the same. Remember, this result and this result will be the same. This was called what? Associative law over addition. All of you remember, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, there was associative law over multiplication also. That is, if a, b, c are three real numbers, then a into b into c within brackets is the same as a into b within brackets into c. That is, you first multiply b and c, whatever you get, then you multiply a with that. This result is the same as first you multiply a and b, then you multiply c with it. This result and this result are the same.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. This was called associative law over multiplication and associative law over addition. Similarly, in set theory there is also associative law. What is that? Well, let a, b, c are three sets. Let a, b, c are three sets. Then a union b union c is equal to a union b within brackets union c. This is called associative law. That is, here b union c is within brackets. On the left hand side, b union c is within brackets. That is, you first take union of b and c, then whatever set you get, take union of that set with a. What result you get is equal to, first you take the union between a and b, then whatever you get, take union with c. These two results are exactly the same. This is called associative law. Do you get it? Get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, associative law is also applied over intersection. That is, A intersection B intersection C is equal to A intersection B within brackets intersection C. That is, here on the left hand side what you are doing. On the left hand side you are taking intersection between B and C first because they are within brackets. Remember, we always do the operation that is within brackets first. Brackets come first. Whatever operation is there within brackets, we do that first. So first we will take the intersection between B and C. Whatever set we get, we take its intersection with A. This is the same as first you take intersection between A and B, then whatever you get, take intersection with C. These two are the same sets. This set on the left and this set on the right are the same sets. So this is called associative law. Okay, you can take the screenshot. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then let's talk about distributive law or distribution law, whatever. Distribution law. Well, also you have been acquainted with distribution law in high school. That is, in high school you learned that multiplication is distributive over addition. Multiplication is distributive over addition. So let's say A, B, C are three real numbers. Let's say A, B, C are three real numbers. Then A into B plus C. A into B plus C is the same as A into B plus A into C. You remember this from high school? Distributive law?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why is it called distributive law? Why is it called distributive law? Distribution means what? To hand out something, right? To distribute something among people. If you distribute sweets among people, what? You hand out sweets among people, right? Okay. Similarly, what happens here is A multiplication is being distributed to B and then to C. You see, A multiplication is being distributed with B and then with C, and in between this plus sign will be there. That is why it is called distribution law. That is why it is called distribution law. So what happens? A with its multiplication sign goes to B, then A with its multiplication sign goes to C, then in between them this plus sign will be there. That is called distribution law. So we say that here multiplication is distributive over addition, right? Multiplication is distributive over addition. And in the similar fashion, you can understand that sets also follow distributive law. What is that? The first one, that union is distributive over intersection. What does that mean? Suppose A, B, C are three sets. Capital A, capital B, capital C are three sets. Then A union B intersection C is equal to, well, just like what happened here in case of real numbers in multiplication addition, similar thing will happen here. What will happen? That A with its union symbol, A with its union will go to B, that is A union B, then A with its union symbol will go to C, that is A union C, and in between them this intersection symbol will be there. This is called what? Union is distributive over intersection. Here A union is being distributed between B and C. Right? You get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Just-
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just like what happened here. Just exactly like what happened here. Okay. And the second distributive law is intersection is also distributive over union. Well, what does that mean? Let's see. Suppose A, B, C are three sets, then A intersection B union C is the same as. Here what will happen? That A intersection will go to B, then A intersection will go to C, then in between them what will be there? This union. This union. You got it? Hello, you got
Yes,
it?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh. So as you can see here, this intersection with A is being distributed between B and C, right? A intersection is being distributed between B and C. That is why it is called distributive law. Okay. So you take the screenshot. Just give me a second, give me a second. Okay. So now we'll talk about what? De Morgan's law. Well, you see, De Morgan was a mathematician. Okay, De Morgan was a mathematician, and he gave these two laws that we are going to discuss now. Okay, and those laws are called De Morgan's laws. Okay, I hope all of you are acquainted with the complement, right? Complement of a set. Suppose A is a set, what is its complement? All of you know that if A is a set, then a complement of A is denoted by what? Is denoted by A dash or A bar, or you can put a tiny c on the top right corner here. Okay, all three mean what? Complement of A, and equal to what? Universal set minus set A. All of you remember that complement of a set is universal
Yes,
set
sir.
minus that set?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you just have to remove this set A from the universal set. So for the sake of reminding you, this is my universal set, which is always represented by a rectangle. Always represented by rectangle. Universal set is the set which is the superset of all the sets that you are working with. Currently, if you are working with 5 sets A, B, C, D, E, then universal set is such a set that is the superset of all the sets you are working with, right? All the sets you are working with, they are the subsets of the universal set. Nothing exists outside the universal set. Nothing exists outside the universal set. Universal set, beyond universal set, beyond the border of universal set, it is empty. It is what? It is empty. Remember, whatever is there, that is inside the universal set. So suppose this is my set A. So the region bounded by the circle of A, the region bounded by the circle of A, this region represents what? Set A. Everything that is inside this circle, that belongs to set A. Well, the region outside set A, but inside universal set, of course, this yellow region, this region is called what? A complement. This region is called what? A complement. That is, if you remove set A entirely from the universal set, if you remove set A entirely from the universal set, what do you get? You get the yellow shaded region, and that yellow shaded region is called a complement. Also, you can see for yourself, whatever is there inside set A, that is not there in A complement, and whatever is there inside A complement, that is not there in A, right? That is not there in A. You already know about all these properties. Also, you know that if you take a union, between A and its complement, you get the entire universal set. You see, if you take all the elements of this red shaded region and all the elements of this yellow shaded region, then you get the entire universal set, right? So they complement each other. A and A complement, they do what? They complement each other. Okay, what is not inside A, that is there inside A complement. What is not inside A complement, that is there inside A. Like right, like what males cannot do, females can do. What females cannot do, males can do. They complement each other, right? Just like in Puran, like they say Shiva and Vishnu complement each other. Complement each other means what? What Shiva does, Vishnu doesn't do. What Vishnu does, Shiva does do. So that together they complement each other and the entire universe is filled. That was a mythology. Okay, so forget about it. But that is the concept here. That is the reason why a complement is called a complement. Okay, you got it? They complement each other.
Yes, sir.
Means they fulfill each other's shortcomings. They fulfill each other's shortcomings. Okay, so this was about complement of A. But let's come back to De Morgan's law. Let's come back to De Morgan's law. Well, what is De Morgan's law? De Morgan's law. Well, let's say A and B are two sets. Okay, A and B are two sets. Let's say A and B are two sets. Then first we take their union, A union B, right? A union B is also a set, right? A union B is a set that carries all the elements of set A and all the elements of set B. That is called A union B. So first you take A union B, and whatever set you get, you take its complement. Remember, first you take A union B.
Yes, sir.
Whatever set you get, then you take its complement. Okay, it is same as first you take a complement of A, then you take complement of B, then you take intersection between them. They are the same sets. Let me tell you once again, A union B whole complement is the same as A complement intersection B complement. So how can you memorize this? Remember, here there is whole complement and here there is individual complements. This union will change into what? Intersection. This union will change into what? Intersection. This is called De Morgan's law. That is, A union B whole complement is the same as A complement intersection B complement. Similarly, A intersection B whole complement is the same as A complement B complement, and in between this intersection sign will change into union. You got it? This is called De Morgan's law. Hello, you got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is called De Morgan's law. Do not forget it. Okay? Do not forget it. This is your De Morgan's law. Okay. Now, for the sake of clarity, this is my universal set. Suppose there is a set A here, there is another set B here. Well, A and B might have some elements in common between them. That is why I am allowing their intersection between here. It is a general representation. A, B might have some elements in common between them. Well, if they do not have any elements in common between them, then you can draw their Venn diagrams like this, A, B, if they have no elements in common between them. But this is general, okay, this is general. They might have some elements in common between them. We are taking a general representation. So, this is set A and this is set B. Well, what is A union B? A union B is the entire region covered by the Venn diagram AB. This yellow shaded region is what? A union B. Because this yellow shaded region carries all the elements of A and all the elements of B. That is why this yellow shaded region is called what? A union B. Now if I want to find the complement of A union B, if I want to find the complement of A union B, what shall I do? Complement of A union B means what? Universal set minus A union B, right? Universal set minus A union B. Just like when you are finding A complement, it was what? Universal set minus A. Similarly, here you are trying to find the complement of A union B. So answer is universal set minus A union B. So remove A union B entirely from the universal set. Whatever is left, that is what? That is A union B complement. This red shaded region is A union B. You got my point, right? Similarly, suppose this is my set A, this is my set B. Well, check it out. This region is called what? A intersection B. Because A intersection B is a set that carries all those elements which are mutually shared by A and B, that are common to both A and B, right? So A intersection B is the set. You see here, this yellow shaded region, whatever elements are there inside the yellow shaded region, that also go inside the circle of A, they also go inside the circle of B. That means what? They are mutually shared by A and B. So that is why it is called A intersection B. Now if I want to find the complement of A intersection B, what is it? It is universal set minus A intersection B. So take A intersection B entirely from the universal set. Remove A intersection B entirely from the universal set. So if I remove A intersection B entirely from the universal set, what do I get? I get this red shaded region, right? I get this red shaded region. If I take out the yellow shaded region from the universal set, then I get this red shaded region. Do I not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this red shaded region is called what? A intersection B complement. Okay, that's it. Remember. Then let's talk. So remember, this union symbol will change into what? Intersection, and this intersection symbol will change into what? Union. Do not forget about it. Okay. Then, okay, let's do some Venn diagram representation. Okay. Suppose this question number 2. Okay. Universal set is given to you as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Universal set is given to you as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there is set A which carries element 1, 3, 5, and there is set B which carries element 2, 4. Well, let's first try to collect some information. First of all, are you clear why this is universal set? Because it is a superset of A and B both, right? You are working with A and B right now. This universal set is a superset of A and B both. Or alternately, you can say that A and B both are subsets of the universal set. You can see for yourself, all the elements of set A come from the universal set, and all the elements of set B also come from the universal set. Are we clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now one more important thing you can observe here. Set A and set B, they do not have any elements in common between them. No element is common between A and B. So if I take their intersection, well, intersection is the set that will carry the elements that are common between A and B. So no element is common between A and B. So it will become what? An empty set, right? A intersection B, an empty set. So here A and B are called what? Are called disjoint sets, right? Remember, if they do not have anything in common between them, then we call them what? Disjoint sets, right? So let's draw the Venn diagram. Let's draw the Venn diagram. You see, this is my universal set. As you can see here, A and B are two sets and they have no elements in common between them. Their intersection is phi. So I will also not allow any region common between the Venn diagram of A and B. I will draw them separately. Suppose this is set A, this is set B, right? Why did I draw them entirely apart from each other? Why did I not allow any like this? In the previous case we did the Venn diagram like this, but here Venn diagram of A and Venn diagram of B are completely separated from each other. Why? Because they have no element in common, right? Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are the elements of A? 1, 3, 5, right? So I will put the elements 1, 3, 5 inside the Venn diagram of A. And what are the elements of B? The elements of B are 2, 4. So I will put the elements of B inside the Venn diagram of B. Well, one thing you can be assured that here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 they are all elements of universal set, right? Because why? Because they are inside the rectangle, right? Everything that is inside the rectangle is owned by, is possessed by the universal set. Everything that is inside the rectangle. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 2, 4 they are also inside the universal set. Okay, now the Venn diagram is not complete yet, because universal set also carries some extra elements. Because universal set carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A and B together give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What about the rest of the elements? 6, 7. So we will have to draw them outside the 2 AB, right? Anywhere you want. You got it? Anywhere you want. So this is the complete Venn diagram, complete picture. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So done. So as you can see here, like this here, this universal set 6, 7 here, 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, A, B. Okay. Now let's do some observations here. Let's do some observations here. Can anybody tell me what is A minus B? A minus B means what? Difference of two sets A, B, right? A minus B is a set. What kind of element does it carry? Can anybody tell me A minus B carries what kind of elements? Elements that belong to only A but not B. Right? Those elements that belong to only A but not B, the elements that belong to A only but they do not have anything to do with set B, they are the elements of A minus B. In set builder form, how do we write it? That A minus B is a set X such that, where X is any element of A minus B, such that X belongs to A and X does not belong to B. Those elements which belong to A but do not belong to B, only those elements will be there in A minus B. So this set also called only A but not B. Now check it out. Check it out here. What elements do you see? What elements do you see in this Venn diagram that belong to only A but not B? What elements that belong to only A but not B? You tell me.
Sir, -5. Sorry, 5, 7.
5, 7, they belong to only A but not B. Think about it. Which elements do you see in this Venn diagram? Which elements do you see in this Venn diagram that belong to only set A but not set B? Well, all of these
So
1,
1,
3,
3,
5.
5.
All of these
1, 3, 5.
here.
Sir, 1, 3, 5.
Yes, 1, 3, 5.
Yes, sir. Sorry, 1, 3, 5, sir.
1, 3, 5. So isn't 1, 3, 5 the entire set A? Isn't 1, 3, 5
Yes,
the
sir.
entire set A? Right. That means here, and you see here, A and B are disjoint sets, right? They do not have anything in common. They do not have anything in common. A, B, they don't have anything in common. So whatever is inside A, right, that is not inside B because they have nothing in common. Whatever is inside B, that is not inside A, right, because they have nothing in common, right? So all the elements of set A belong to only A, right, because they have nothing in common. All the elements of set B, they belong to only B, right, because they have nothing in common. You get my point? You get my
Yes,
point?
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a special case. This is a special case when A intersection B is phi, that is they have nothing in common. In that case, A minus B is the same set A. In this case only, A minus B is the same set as A, because what is A minus B set? A minus B set carries all those elements that belong to A but not B. Well, here none of the elements of set A belong to B. Not a single element of set A belong to set B. So A minus B is the entire set A. Similarly, B minus A. Well, B minus A is the set that carries those elements that belong to B only but not A. Well, you see here, all the elements of set B, okay, not a single of them belong to set A because they have intersection phi. All the elements, none of the elements of B belong to A. Entire set B, whatever elements is there inside set B, they belong to B only. They have nothing to do with A. So B minus A is equal to B. Okay, in this particular case, I hope you got it. You can check it out for yourself. B minus A is a set that carries elements which belong to B only. What are the elements that you see in the Venn diagram that belong to B only? 2, 4, right?
2, 4.
2, 4.
Okay. So this is entire set B, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is a particular special case, remember. If A and B are disjoint sets that they do not have any elements common between them, in that case, A minus B is A, B minus A is B. Remember, okay? Okay, you can take the screenshot. What about the rest? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Others are not responding. Take the screenshot.
Yes, sir.
Take the screenshot. Okay. Then, okay. Okay. So let's draw another Venn diagram. Okay. Let's draw another Venn diagram. This Venn diagram. Okay. So universal set carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10. Right. Let's draw the Venn diagram here. This is a universal set that carries elements 1, 2, 3 up to 10. All the natural numbers from 1 to 10. Okay. They are inside the universal set. And there is set A which carries elements 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And there is set B which carries elements 4, 6. Okay, so we have to draw the Venn diagram. Now first thing is you must make some important observations, then only you can draw the Venn diagram properly. First you have to make all the observations. First observation, as you can see, this is your universal set, because you see the sets that you are, okay, what capital U is universal set, that's it. But remember, whatever sets you are working with, right now we are working with two sets A, B, and both of them are subsets of the universal set, right? All the elements of set A come from the universal set itself. All the elements of set B also come from the universal set itself. Are we clear on that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
One more important observation you can make here. That is, each and every element of set B is there inside set A. You can see 4 of set B is there in set A, 6 of set B is there in set A. Each and every element of set B is there in set A. That is why we say that B is a subset of A here, right? B is a subset of A here. B is clearly a subset of A. Okay. But you see that A is not a subset of B. A is not a subset of B, because each and every element of set A do not belong to set B. Only each and every element set B belongs to set A. But vice versa is not true. So B is a subset of A, but A is not a subset of B. Remember this here. And in this case, what do we say? What do we say? Remember, B is a proper subset of A. Remember, proper subset of A. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So why do we say? Why do we say here that B is a proper subset of A? Because B is a subset of A, but vice versa is not true. That is, A is not a subset of B. In this case, we say that B is a proper subset of A. Okay. So let's draw the Venn diagram. So let me draw the rectangle for universal set first. Then let me draw the Venn diagram of set A for A. Well, you see for yourself, the Venn diagram of set B will be entirely inside the Venn diagram of set A, right? Why is that? Why is that? Because every element of set B is there inside the set A, right? You can see for yourself. So
Yes, sir.
So you have
Yes, sir.
so you have to draw the Venn diagram of set B inside the Venn diagram of set A entirely, and also you have to leave some space in between B and A. Why? Because A also carries some extra elements, right? 2, 8, 10, 2, 8, 10. These elements are extra elements that A carries. So those elements will be here, right? Okay. So what are the elements of B? 4, 6. I will put somewhere here 4, 6. Okay. What are the elements of A? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, already 4, 6 are covered. Then the rest 2, 8, 10 you will have to write here, wherever you want. So A, B are covered, right? A, B are covered. Okay, you can see that 4, 6 of set B, they also belong to set A, right? Because they are inside the circle of A.
Yes, sir.
But universal set also carries some extra elements, right? Because universal set carries 1, 2, 3 up to 10. So what elements are left? 1 is left. Well, 2 is covered. 3 is left. 4 is covered. 5 is left. 6 is covered. 7 is left. 8 is covered. 9 is left, right? So this is the entire picture. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's do some practical problems. Okay. 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 So let's do some practical problems. So are you all ready? Because very important thing is we are going to study very important thing. Let me erase it, huh? Or you want to take
Yes,
the
sir.
screenshot. If you want to take the screenshot, you can. Done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about some practical applications. Some practical applications of set theory. Well, first important note. First note. Imagine A and B are two sets. Imagine A and B are two sets. And they are disjoint. That is, they have no element in common between them. Imagine A and B are two sets. They have no element in common between them. Well, one more thing. You already know about a cardinality or not? Because I had to discuss cardinality with you. Cardinality, number of elements of set A. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So imagine this situation that A and B are two sets and they are disjoint. That is, they have no element in common between them. So let's take an example. So set A has elements 1, 2. Set B has elements 3, 4, 5. Well, you can see for yourself. Here A and B are disjoint sets because they do not share any mutual elements. They have no elements in common between them. Well, can you tell me what is the cardinality of A? How many elements are there in A? 2, right? There are 2 elements in set A, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the cardinality of B? How many elements are there in B?
Sir, 3.
3.
Sir, 3.
The cardinality of B is 3, right? Okay. Now you tell me, if I want to take a union between AB, well, A union B is a set that carries all the elements of set A and all the elements of set B. So element 1, 2 of set A, then element 3, 4, 5 of set A, that is your A union B, right? That is your A union B. You got it so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. One important thing you can observe here. Since A, B did not have any element common between them, so we did not need to worry that there might be some element common between them. We will have to write it once, because you remember in the previous case, for example, suppose I give you a set A 1, 2, 3 and I give you a set B, suppose 2, 3, 4, and I ask you their union. Well, A union B carries all the elements that are there in A and all the elements that are there in B. So you have to write 1, 2, 3 of set A. Then set B also has 2, 3, but no element is repeated. A union B is a set, so you will not repeat 2, 3. We will not repeat 2, 3. 2, 3 are already there, so we will only include 4. So you can see here A union B carries all the elements of A, because A carries 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 are there inside A union B. A union B also carries all the elements of B. That is also true, because B carries 2, 3, 4. There are 2, 3, 4, right? So we are correct. Okay. But here you see one thing, that 2, 3, these two elements were common between A and B. That is why you were worried. You had to make sure that these elements are not repeated inside A union B, right? You had to make sure, right? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But in this case, in our example, we did not have to worry about that. Because A, B did not have any element in common. They are completely disjoint. They have no element in common. Well, find out what is the cardinality of A union B here. How many elements are there in A union B? 5 elements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it equal
Yes, sir.
to Isn't it equal to cardinality of A and plus cardinality of B? You can see for yourself. A has 3 elements, A has 2 elements, B has 3 elements. 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, right? So A union B cardinality is
Yes,
equal to
sir.
cardinality of A plus cardinality
Yes, sir.
of B. Okay. Why? Okay. And also it is very intuitive. You can easily, even though without taking an example, you can do it in your head also. Okay. Because obviously A union B will carry all the element of A and A union B will carry all the element of B. No element is here common between A and B. So both 2 elements will be written once. Both 3 elements, they will also have to be written once of set B. And there will be 5 elements inside A union B, right? It is very obvious, right? But you see for
Yes, sir.
yourself. Suppose I have 2 sets E and F. E carries elements 1, 2, 3. B carries element 2, 3, 4. Now, F carries F. Suppose E and F are 2 sets. Now, if I want to take E union F, well, E union F carries what? All the elements of E and all the elements of F. So all the elements of E means 1, 2, 3 will come from E. But 2, 3 you have already written. Okay, so 2, 3 will not be repeated from set F. So only one that is left is F, right? You got it? Now you tell me.
Yes, sir.
What was the cardinality of E here? 3, right? Number of elements
Three.
of E 3.
Yes,
What
sir.
was
3.
the cardinality of F here? 3, right?
Sir, 3.
Sir, 3.
But what is the cardinality of union F here? 4,
Sir, 4.
Sir,
Right?
4.
Sir, 4.
4. And this is not equal to cardinality of E plus cardinality of F, unlike the previous case. Unlike the previous case, in the previous case, cardinality of A union B came out to be equal to cardinality of A plus cardinality of B. But here, cardinality of E union F is not equal to cardinality of E plus cardinality of F. Why is that? Why is that? Because E and F have some elements common between them. E and F have some elements common between them, right? Because E and F have some elements common between them. So when you are trying to include elements from set F, when you are trying to take elements from set F, you had to make sure that no, 2, 3 have already been written. 2, 3 have already been written. So I will not write 2, 3 again. 2, 3 have already been written. So I will not write 2, 3 again. So you include only 4. Okay, see here, if 2 numbers get decreased, right? 2 numbers get decreased. You see my point? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You see my point? Okay. So here we learned a very important thing. What is that? Now if A and B are disjoint sets, that is their intersection is phi, then cardinality of A union B is equal to cardinality of A plus cardinality of B. This is a special case. That if A, B are disjoint, then cardinality of their union is equal to the sum of their individual cardinalities. Are we clear on this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. Take the screenshot. Done? Okay, done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Remember this, very important observation. It was an observation, okay, very important observation. So what was the observation? That is, if A and B are disjoint, that is, they do not have any element in common between them, then cardinality of their union is equal to the sum of their individual cardinalities. Okay. Then let's find out the general formula of cardinality of A union B. What is the general formula of cardinality of A union B? Because you see that when A, B are disjoint, only then cardinality of A union B is equal to cardinality of A plus cardinality of B. But it is not always the case, right? It is not always that A, B will be disjoint. Okay. In some cases A will be disjoint, in other cases A and B will have some elements in common between them, right? In that case, if we want to find the cardinality of A union B, how will we do it? What is the formula for that? Okay, let's derive that formula. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So let's do that. Okay. Now, very important. Set A minus B. Let's observe set A minus B. This is set A. This is set B. You tell me one thing. A minus B is a set which carries what kind of elements? The elements that belong to only A but not B, right? Only A but not B. Only A but not B. This red shaded region, right? Because every element that is there inside the red shaded region, every element that is there inside the red shaded region that belong to only A. They have nothing to do with set B. That is why this red shaded region is called A minus B. Well, what about this region? What is this region? Can anybody tell me what is this region? A intersection B, isn't it? Because all the elements that are there inside this yellow shaded region, they belong to both A and B. They are common between A and B. That is why this yellow shaded region is called A intersection B. Well, see for yourself. If I take a union between A minus B and A intersection B, if I take a union between A minus B and A intersection B, that is, if I take a union between the red and the yellow, what do I get? I get the complete set A, isn't it? I get the complete set A, isn't it? Right? Is there any other element
Yes, sir.
left?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Entire set A is covered?
No, sir.
Red and yellow cover the entire set A?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if
Yes,
I take
sir.
a union between A minus B and intersection B, I get the entire set A. Well, let's make another important observation. You tell me, this red and this yellow, do red and yellow overlap anywhere? Do they have any common region? Do red and yellow overlap anywhere? You see, do red and yellow overlap anywhere? Do they have any common region? Is there any region where red and yellow both are there?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Red and yellow are not, no, red and red, all entire red shaded region and entire yellow shaded region, they are disjoint from each other, right? They have no area common between them. You see, red and yellow, they are disjoint, right? You can see for yourself here that A minus B and A intersection B are disjoint, right? They are disjoint. They have no element in common between them. A minus B set and A intersection B set will have no elements in common between them, right? And also intuitively you can imagine that A minus B is a set that carries those elements that belong to only A. They have nothing to do with set B. But A intersection B carries all the elements that belong to A and B both. That means whatever elements are there in A intersection B, they are also there in B, right? So how will they have anything common between them? Because any element of A minus B, whatever element is there inside A minus B, none of them is there inside B, right? Because they belong to only A. So how will red and yellow B have anything in common? You got it, right? Think about it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
they are disjoint sets. Okay. So now we know that A is equal to A minus B union A intersection B, and also we know that A minus B and A intersection B are disjoint sets. Well, you tell me, if set A is equal to this entire set, then cardinality of set A is also equal to cardinality of this set, right? Because they are equal sets. Suppose I have a set A here which has elements 1, 2. I have another set B here which has elements 1, 2. You can see for yourself that A and B are equal, right? So definitely they will also have the equal number of elements, right? They will definitely have the equal number of elements. So since A and this set are equal, so cardinality of A is also equal to cardinality of this union this, right? You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you tell me one thing, this set and this set are disjoint, they have nothing in common, and you want to find the cardinality of their union, right? They are disjoint and you want to find the cardinality of their union. Well, we know that if two sets are disjoint, then cardinality of their union is equal to cardinality of sum of their individual cardinalities. Here also you are trying to find the cardinality of the union of this, and they are disjoint. So this answer will be equal to what? Cardinality of A plus cardinality of intersection B, right? Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So our result is what? Our result is what? Cardinality of A is equal to cardinality of A minus B plus cardinality of A intersection B. Then can you tell me what will be cardinality of A minus B? Will it be equal to cardinality of A minus cardinality of intersection B? You can see for yourself. If you take this to right hand side, you will get this. Check it out. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Got it? Okay. So this formula you have to remember, that a cardinality of A minus B is equal to what? Cardinality of A minus cardinality of A intersection B. Similarly, cardinality of B minus A will be equal to what? Cardinality of A minus B is equal to cardinality of A minus this. Cardinality of B minus A is equal to cardinality of B minus this. Okay, in the similar manner you can derive for yourself. Got it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You have to memorize this. That cardinality of A minus B is equal to cardinality of A minus cardinality of intersection B. Then cardinality of B minus A is equal to cardinality of B minus cardinality of A intersection B. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then let's find out the formula for cardinality of A union B. Okay. So for that, let me take two sets A, B. Let me draw their Venn diagrams. A, B. You tell me one thing. This red shaded region is called what? You already know, A minus B. This yellow shaded region is called what? You already know, A intersection B. And this blue shaded region is called what? Yes, B minus A, right?
B minus A.
Yes, sir. B minus A.
Okay, because all the elements that are there in this blue shaded region, they belong to only B. They have nothing to do with set A. Well, think about it. If I take a union between these three sets, the entire A union B set is covered, right? The entire A union B set is covered, right? Because what is A union B? What is A union B? The entire region of A, B is A union B, right? This is A union B. You can see for yourself. So if I take a union between these three sets, A minus B, A intersection B, B minus A, I will get the entire A union B, or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then can I write that A union B is equal to A minus B union A intersection B union B minus A? Can I? Because their union
Yes,
is
sir.
A union B.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. One more important observation. Guys, tell me, do you see any region at all? Where red, yellow or blue, they have anything in common between them? Is there any region where red, yellow have common between them? Is there any region where yellow,
sir.
blue have common between
No,
them?
No,
sir.
sir.
No,
No,
right?
sir.
That means
No, sir.
A minus B, A intersection B, B minus A, these three sets, they are mutually disjoint sets, right? They have no elements in common between them at all. A minus B, B minus A are disjoint. A minus B, A intersection B are disjoint. A intersection B, B minus A are disjoint. They are disjoint of each other, right? They are mutually disjoint. They have no element in common between them at all. So I will write the same thing here. A minus B, A intersection B and B minus A are disjoint, isn't it? They have nothing in common. Well, if these three sets are disjoint, then let's see what happens. Well, you tell me one thing. This set A union B on the left hand side is equal to this entire set on the right hand side. So their cardinality also must be the same. Cardinality of A union B will be equal to the cardinality of this A minus B union A intersection B union B minus A. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you see for yourself that these three sets are disjoint. They have no element in common between them. Then cardinality of their union is equal to the sum of their individual cardinalities, right? The sum of their individual cardinalities, right? Why is
Yes,
that?
sir.
Why is that?
Yes,
Because
sir.
they
Yes,
are
sir.
disjoint.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you tell me, what is the formula for cardinality of A minus B? We had just discovered that cardinality of A minus B is equal to cardinality of A minus cardinality of A intersection B. Remember, we had just discovered formula.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And there is this thing plus cardinality of A intersection B plus. Similarly, what is cardinality of B minus A? We have just discovered it is equal to cardinality of B
B
minus
cardinality minus B intersection.
right? We have just discovered. Well, these two numbers will cancel out, right? Because you see, cancel out, right?
Yes, sir.
So what are you left
Yes,
with?
yes.
What are you left with? Cardinality of A plus cardinality of B minus cardinality of A intersection B. What is this formula for cardinality of A union B? So remember, this is the formula for cardinality of A union B. Okay. So remember, formula for cardinality of A union B is equal to cardinality of A plus cardinality of B minus cardinality of A intersection B. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now without proof, okay, without proof, we'll simply remember the cardinality of A union B union C without proof. Okay. So let's try to do that. So take the screenshot. Okay, 1 second. Yes. Take it. 1 second. Yes. Done. Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Done. Okay. Done. Okay. Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay. Okay. Let me guys remind you one thing that I had already told you since the beginning of our classes. So let's continue. Okay. Now without proof, let's memorize the formula for cardinality of A union B union C. Suppose A, B, C are three sets, then what is cardinality of A union B union C? It is equal to cardinality of A plus cardinality of B plus cardinality of C minus cardinality of A intersection B minus cardinality of B intersection C minus cardinality of C intersection A, then finally plus cardinality of A intersection B intersection C. Okay, you just have to memorize this. Remember, cardinality of A union B union C is equal to cardinality of A plus cardinality of B plus cardinality of C minus cardinality of A intersection B minus cardinality of B intersection C minus cardinality of C intersection A, then plus cardinality of A intersection B intersection C. Can you do that? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You have
Yes,
to
sir.
memorize. Okay. But let me just show you. Let me just draw the Venn diagram of A, B, C, and show you which region represents which Venn diagram. Okay. This set A, this set B, this set C. You see this region that carries all the elements that are mutually shared by A and B both, right? This red region is called A intersection B. Remember, this red region is called what? A intersection B. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This yellow region, you see this yellow region? This yellow region carries all the elements that are common between A and C. So this is called A intersection C. Do you see this blue region? This blue region carries all the elements that are common between B and C. So it is called B intersection C. Do you see this region where red, yellow and blue merge, right? Here all the elements that are common between A, B, C, all three, right? That are mutually shared by A, B, C. You see all the elements inside this region that belong to A, B, C, 3 both, right? A, B, C, 3, all of them, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
this,
Yes, sir.
so this region is called A intersection B intersection C. Got it? This region is called A intersection B intersection
sir.
C.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So take the screenshot and we'll do some numericals. Done? Okay, guys, if you
Sir, done.
okay, guys, if you agree,
Yes, sir.